It's one of those games, a fantasy world so painfully 90s, you wonder just how this type of stuff died out. As if fucking fake coughing made me genuine cough. That's bullshit. I mean, you tell me what you see. The world is on the brink of destruction at the hand of some witch and a goblin pet. And who is sent forward on the heroic journey to stop it all? Some Amazonian, her husband, and an old man with a bald spot. Like, what kind of world is this? The goblins have drawbridges and castles and seem to be researching geothermal power. Like, why the fuck else would they be in a volcano for level 1? And my barbarians have got, like, loincloths and a 10-foot vertical leap. Why? Why do we start in a volcano? What adventure ever starts in a volcano? Oh man, we need something relatable so we can see the heroic natures of the heroes. Volcano. Of course, obviously, why not? In game she's apparently called Huntress, and if you would like to educate me as to what you hunt dressed like that, I will happily call them Huntress. Until then, their name is Freak Amazon and Mrs. Freak Amazon Barbarian since the marriage. I think I have a problem. Not literally me, but every game I end up reviewing has this type of female character. I think it's just the era, just a different time. Let's just talk about the game for a bit. Like, it's a game filled with a lot of problems, and the first one you'll encounter is just not knowing which character's storyline you want to pursue. You get such an incredible amount of flavor text and lore, it's hard to choose between them. Well, I'm sold. And no, there isn't any flavor text at all, I'm joking, there's nothing. The game just throws you in and you're expected to save the world for no fucking reason. But the real problem you'll face is that level 1 is a volcano. The jumping control has a strange thing. Like, put it this way, normally in other games, when you press the opposite direction while in the air, you don't veer massively backward. However, in this game, you burst in the opposite direction. It's impressive. On top of that, this level also happens to contain most of the game's platforming, so deaths are expected. The next problem you'll face is a unique problem to this game. Items, normally in an action game, items are an on-contact use thing. You touch a flashing white ball, you heal. You touch a wall chicken, you heal. You aren't allowed to save it for later. Who knows what the expiry date of wall chicken is? You know, I don't want to take that chance. And that's how they are balanced. This game uses a system closer to RPGs. You pick up an item, and when you press pause, can choose to use it whenever you want. The way a game with an inventory balances out their items, noticeably WoW, is that they are level dependent. The stat boosts and heals were only nice or even relevant if you were around the level of the thing. This game doesn't have that. So the items you pick up in level 1 are the strongest items you're ever going to find. And you want to stockpile those bastards because there's a piece of shit boss at the end of the game that what the fuck? That alone makes a really messy game where you can't just measure progress with what level you're on. You have to take into account how many items you have. Especially the game's two most powerful items. Armor, which I've only managed to find in the shop for 20 silver. Again, more backward shit. Why are the people saving the world being charged to save it? Why didn't they equip them before they bloody did this? And alongside those are these little sparkles. These items are permanent and permanent until death, respectively. And when I say powerful, I mean it. The armor doubles your damage to the rest of the game and changes you cosmetically. And exclusive of the Amazon changes them from melee to ranged. It still doesn't cover ass cheeks though, so don't worry, I don't know what side of the track you're on this. But the sparkles, which it turns out increase damage by 50% stacking additively, up to a maximum 200%, you know, or double damage, just like the armor, kind of. So when you combine that with the strong consumables getting stockpile, you have a game that deliberately makes itself easier the better you do. It's similar to the Magic Flame weapon in Ghouls and Ghosts, but when you get that, you're running through the game a second time, not running through original levels. and original levels. You know how the lava level looks exciting and varies between platforming, action, and exploring to find secrets. All the later levels throw out the window, leaving you with mazes and enemies just plonked around so you have something to do. The levels are really badly, like, you think I'm taking the piss, but the levels are really badly done in the later ones. You'll encounter the same scenarios repeatedly. Man with shield, man with shield, man with shield, dog on bridge, dog on bridge. I get the feeling this has something to do with the existence of the armor upgrade trivializing a lot of the enemies. Or the fact that half of the characters are melee and half of the characters are ranged. If you think about other action platformers, they rarely, if ever, allow you to change weapon style. Castlevania, you are a melee whipman, which isn't a very good example because at some point in one of those games you can turn into a blue wizard. But for the majority of Castlevania games, you are melee the whole time. In Mega Man and Metroid, you are only ranged. Hollow Knight and Shovel Knight, you're only melee. Take this room here. A Reaper spawned in level 8, so this is right at the end of the game. A Reaper spawned, and this enemy has two things he can do. He can do a ranged attack, and when he's up close he'll do a slash and then hops back. If you go too deep into this room, an instant kill laser guy will fucking spawn behind you, and it causes a problem. You're stuck between a hard place and potential instant death. So anyway, the room, if you have 0 damage upgrades, the Reaper takes 8 slashes to kill. When you have 2 sparkles and an optimized strategy, you can kill the Reaper before the instant kill guy poses a threat. Like, he'll have spawned behind you, you'll kill the Reaper with 1 more slash, turn and then just run to the bit. Or kill him if you want, because, you know, whatever, why not? And worse still, if you are an armoured ranged, you can just run into the room, shoot 4 times, and he's dead, room over. Boom, let's go, next one. And this happens a lot. The whole game pretty much becomes trivial for the ranged characters. Range is just, it's such a huge asset to leave unbalanced. Typically, more range means potentially lower damage or mobility or dangerous when close. Best seen in something like Doll Sim or, I don't know, fucking whatever. Who cares? Range, balance range. Fucking there. Anyway, this lack of challenge for ranged characters makes the game feel pretty bland in later stages. It doesn't pick up again until a boss, but even then, to run through a 20-minute long level just boring yourself just to fight what is pretty much going to be a mediocre hack and slash or something with a glaring weakness you can exploit after 20 seconds of fighting it. It's not something you can enjoy. So that's all there is to it. It's not like it matters though. You played it because you scrolled through Fightcade and saw 2 things: co-op and hurt ass on the ladder. Is it worth playing co-op over single player? Not really. The game is just a single player game really. Like, I think you should just treat it as that, because the camera just limits your view and turns unthreatening enemies into surprises. That means you have to keep pausing the game so the camera can catch up. And probably the most annoying thing is that there aren't double the number of items. So having a second player is that you're just splitting up your resources between you, the two of you. And when you do that, it doesn't even benefit you that much, because if one of you dies and is meant to be carrying the sparkles while the other one's collecting silver, your teammate's useless for the rest of the game, because you can't get more sparkles after a certain point.